Morning guys, so it is Tuesday the 25th of August. It's actually just 20 past 11. I'm going to have a run through the markets and kind of update those of you, I guess at Forex Fox, what I'm going to be looking at on my watch list at least today in terms of trading opportunities. So based off the analysis I did on the weekend on Sunday night, markets are generally looking bullish in terms of equities and indices. Currencies, it's a bit of a mixed bag. And then having a look at some of the commodities, it's also a bit of a mixed bag. So just running through the charts, what I've got here is going from top left to bottom right clockwise. I've got or I should say I'm going to do it reading it left to right. 30 minutes plus a 1 hour, then I've got a 4 hour and then a daily. So I always want to keep a daily chart open because I need to know what the status of the daily is. At that point, then I can actually split it up into anything I want. So for me, usually I might have 6 charts open, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to do 4 charts so that there's just slightly easier for you to see what's going on. And so looking at the 30 minutes, starting off with the indices on the left-hand side, the Dow, immediately this is tradable. These are tradable opportunities. I like the look of the little bullish candle that's forming here on the 1 hour time frame. So if I just kind of zoom that in and just make that a little bit bigger. So liking the look of that little bullish candle, there's a potential entry opportunity right now. It's a little bit more overextended on the 4 hour time frame. So a bit of a concern there for me if I'm going to be honest. Would prefer it not to be the case if that's it. Certainly having a look at the daily, let me just go ahead and bring this up. We'll just do that as 50 units as well. Okay, so that should do. Now, so we're not too overextended on the daily. That's not really my concern. I just think that the 4 hour should potentially do a bit of a retracement, but having said that, the hourly looks pretty good. So what's going to happen here is if I do likely take a trade on the 1 hour on this time frame and look at a break above the high of that bullish candle, the worst case scenario is that the 4 hour then subsequently decides to do a retracement, comes back down towards 28.2. That's the worst case scenario there, and that's fine. I'll then have to pick it up again and look for a 4 hour entry to the upside. Otherwise, it will subsequently move on to the upside. So, as in it'll follow through. No clear trend really on the 30 minutes at this point in time. That 1 hour again has retraced back into the moving averages. It now looks more and more likely that this is the S&P 500 is going to do a retracement back down towards 34.20, possibly halfway between that 34.30. Okay, so now that what that does is because the US markets tend to move together, that kind of makes me have a look at the other markets here. I'm noting, for example, here the tech, so this is the NASDAQ, has actually got a double top. It's actually rejected that high, so we've got a lower high. Technically a lower high, but the point is it's clearly a rejection of 11,700. Smaller candles on the daily, so for me, the risk is now slightly higher. Is the market going to head down towards 11.6? So this is making me now more cautious about the trade setup that I saw on Wall Street because they tend to move as a group. Okay, US Russell, not really on my one anyway. It has done a really nice daily, but it's heading back up towards historical resistance, which is very close by. But it does look like it's going to continue upwards. So actually, that looks more bullish. And again, there's another potential setup there on the 1 hour. Okay, so far, potential trading opportunities on the US markets, but with some concerns over retracement that might be a little bit higher, might be a 4 hour retracement as opposed to it's already ready to go on the 1 hour. Then having a look at the non-US markets, which are not really as bullish. Okay, so if I look at this, we're all testing resistance on the daily. There's some potential rejections here. I'm not liking the look of these so much, actually. Not at all so far looking, just working my way through all of those pretty quickly. Double top here again. I still think that they're likely to potentially be bullish throughout the rest of the week, but right now, today, in terms of intraday trading opportunities, not liking the look of those so much. So one of the things I want to quickly draw your attention to is that on my watch list is a potential breakout for the Australian index, the ASX 200, which looks as though it's setting up for a potential breakout. I'm going to move this because I do think that the potential stop loss at this point can be a lot closer. I'm just going to put it below those lows. I think that's going to be good, and I think we're setting up for a potential breakout. Let's just reduce price and just see how that looks. Looks fine. Not a problem here so far. Looking more bullish than bearish. So that would be an end of day breakout. So that could be interesting to me to see that happen. So that would be an entry above that level. Now looking onto currencies, dollar basket, my expectation is dollar is just generally ranging. So I was expected to strengthen this week, potentially back up, but overall it is ranging. It's just kind of slipping slowly to the downside, but at the same time it's not fully trending in a very strong fashion. And the US session is going to come on later, and this could end up dropping significantly or turning around and climbing. So it's just too high risk because the trend is not as established as it should be. So when I say that it could change direction when the US session comes online, that's because the trend right now isn't established, and therefore it's waiting for the US to come online to get clarity. That means that's going to impact my euro dollar trade setup. Generally speaking, over the next 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, I'm generally bullish on the euro dollar, but I also think we're due for a weekly retracement, and this is where the dilemma comes in. We need a weekly pullback, which means the daily might come down a little bit before resuming that longer term or medium term uptrend. So it just means that if I'm going to take any trades here on the much lower time frames, I'm going to be very quick to take profits. Okay, Aussie dollar, all of them look as though they all look right now. Euro dollar, GBP dollar, Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar all look as though they're trying to find a floor, trying to find support, and push on higher today. So for shorter term opportunities on the 15-minute, for example, that is what they're really looking like they want to do. Kiwi dollar is not as strong. So that's just my essential dilemma there. Dollar yen might actually offer some good intraday opportunities, but it's heading up into daily support and resistance. So that's already probably done most of its move. Dollar Swissy is going sideways. I'm absolutely staying away from that. So dollar Swissy, I'm actually going to mark here color-wise as not great. It's just not really a great one right now at the moment. Dollar CAD does kind of want to continue down. It's definitely finding some support on that daily and some bullish divergence, so I'm more cautious of that. Euro GBP staying away from at the moment, so I'm going to mark that at that level. And yeah, so again, it's just that daily trend is not really that strong. That's really it. Okay, Euro Aussie wants to climb, but look at that daily. So the daily itself is just this kind of mishmash of price. It's not a great trend. If you compare this chart to this chart, that's the kind of price action I'm looking for. So Euro Aussie, not good. Euro Kiwi is attempting to trend to the upside. So that's a possibility for me. Looks a little bit better than Euro Aussie for sure. Euro Yen, absolutely. Okay, so Euro Yen produced a really nice swing low yesterday. You can see it was marked there. Looks pretty good. I'm happy on that one. Okay, very happy with Euro Yen, looking good for long opportunities, and I know some of you guys were doing that as well. Sideways motion on Euro Swissy is a no-no. Pass. Okay, so Euro Yen, I'll mark that. If we need that to be marked as something that looks good, I'll mark that as nice and green. Euro CAD. Actually, look, the problem with Euro CAD is it's in a downtrend. Okay, it's in a downtrend on the daily, lower highs, lower lows. However, it actually, if you go to the weekly, all right, it's more of an uptrend. It's producing a bullish weekly candle. It has got some strong resistance up there at 1.6, so that's a bit of an issue. It looks as though it's trying to go long. So here's the problem. The daily is in a downtrend, and statistically trading against the daily trend is a problem. It really is a problem. The lower time frames are looking more and more bullish. So what that means is if I'm a trader and I'm going to take a trade on the lower time frames to the upside, not piggybacking, investing in the idea that the weekly is going to win out, but the daily is in a downtrend, I am consciously, willfully admitting that it's a higher risk trade setup. That's all. Doesn't mean you can't take it, just means that if it ends up reverting to the daily downtrend later on in the day or tomorrow, you've got to be ready for that and you've got to accept that. But in isolation, ignoring the daily for now, EuroCAD looks really good for buy opportunities on the day. Pound Kiwi, not great at the moment. I was looking to go long on that, similar to Euro Kiwi, but Euro Kiwi looks okay, Pound Kiwi doesn't. Pound Yen, absolutely. So Pound Yen, Euro Yen is still better. Pound Yen is coming up into daily resistance. It's really close to that, so that's my concern with that one. Pound Swissy, no, that's a hard pass. Pound CAD is also trying to, and the difference between Pound CAD and Euro CAD is Pound CAD at least has a double bottom on the daily. That also has a double bottom, which means now there's a clearer potential for it to go to the upside. Nope. So no on Aussie Kiwi, no clear trend. Aussie Yen, yeah, but keeping in mind that that daily is also potentially building up for a longer term breakout above that level. It's running up to that level now. So do I think that it's? I don't look. It hasn't broken out yet, and it only counts as it breaks out over that level. Until it does that, it doesn't mean anything. So it means, yes, I'm bullish on it but it has to follow through on that. Okay, this is interesting to me, mainly that Aussie Swissy looks like it wants to ultimately break down to the downside, but it's not great for trading. Okay, so getting into the breakout now before it's actually happened is a bad idea. Aussie CAD, no. Kiwi Yen, again, interesting. Kiwi Yen daily going down, lower time frames climbing. Cautious because of that reason. So far, there's actually enough to make money on. I only need 2 or 3 charts to trade today, and so far, the Euro Yen is looking good. The global indices are looking good as well. The US indices. Potentially shorts on this. It's just not pretty. Kiwi Yen. Okay, sorry, Swissy Yen. Yes, good. They've all done big moves this morning, which means they would have been fantastic on that 5 minutes. If you go down to 5 minutes, that would have been great. But they are a little bit overextended, but overall they look pretty good. So Swissy Yen, I'll mark that as a slightly green one for the moment. CAD Yen as well, same thing again. Also finding support. So this was a swing trade that I've marked, looking good. So CAD Yen is also now good for intraday trading. CAD Swissy looks bearish. It's not great. Gold. Okay, so gold, no, that's a hard pass for today. Silver, hard pass. Look at that. Look at that 1 hour just... No. Level of potential support could also break down to the downside. Overall, it's just not a great trade setup. High-grade copper. No, I'm going to pass on that. Crude oils. Okay, crude is really struggling with this daily chart. Okay, overall, it's basically not sure if it's going to do a breakout of this level. Okay, it's not sure if it's going to be able to break out through this level and above that. It's attempting to, but it's in a very awkward place. So there are no intraday trading opportunities on that, which is going to be the same for West Texas, and the same. Brent is looking good. There's a nice bullish setup there. Brent looks pretty good on its flat level breakout. Looking bullish. Okay, so there we go. So as I speak, or as we look at this, it's now attempting that breakout. So then I might be looking for breakouts and a retest and go long on that 30 minutes, which might mean tomorrow. Maybe better to do that tomorrow than later today. But yeah, Brent, the best so far out of that. Bitcoin and the cryptos are looking slightly more bearish than anything else. They've also got strong support. I'm probably not going to touch those. Amazon largely going sideways. Let's look at Apple sideways until the US session comes online, and Tesla sideways. And it's a little overextended, potentially doing a swing high on the daily, wanting to retrace. So there we go. So my best opportunities so far would be marking some of those currency pairs. I prefer those today, currencies to commodities. Excuse me, all the commodities, Brent looking the best. And then US indices long on that. Okay, so that's my watch list for today. And as the US session comes online in the next 2 hours, then there could be some action could pick up and the US markets could really start to climb, which might provide stock moves to the upside. That could maybe do something later. But otherwise, this is what I anticipate for the whole of today. So there we go. Thank you very much.